Yo, what's going on, YouTube, and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and today we are taking a look at some news going into the 2022-23 NHL season, but a lot of this is more about next season and the following years to come. We're going to start off with the latest on the NHL's Covid-19 protocols going into the 2022-23 season, as well as the future of the NHL's salary cap, and things seem to be looking up, and we'll go over that in a minute. So we're going to start off with the NHL's Covid-19 protocols going into the 2022-23 NHL season. To start off, the NHL protocol will have clubs have the right to suspend any unvaccinated player unpaid for days missed due to quarantine and travel rules unless they test positive or have a medical religious exemption. So that's kind of what we're looking at. In that regard, we also have no player shall be denied opportunities to participate based on their vaccination status. We've seen that kind of controversial take from a team that happens to be the New York Islanders. Lou Lamoriello's stance on the COVID-19 situation. He actually didn't allow Bodie Wild, one of his prospects, to play in Bridgeport last season because he was not vaccinated, and that is pretty much the reason we know that. So I'm interested to see how that kind of plays out this year. We also have some other ones here. Players who show COVID-19 symptoms must take a rapid test. Positive players who show upper respiratory infection symptoms or fall ill must have cardiac test after isolation. I guess that's more of a long-term issue, making sure that there's no long-term effects from playing in the NHL from COVID-19. Clubs must disclose positive tests to the media and the public. Everything else follow the government rules. So that's kind of where we're at right now with the NHL's COVID protocols. It's probably the last time I'll ever talk about that here in these videos. Bless our souls that this is the last time I say anything about it, but in today's world, you never really know. So hopefully that's the end of it, and I don't have to make any more talks about that, and we can focus on more optimistic things, which include the NHL's future in the realm of the salary cap. So we've heard a lot of interesting reports recently about the NHL salary cap probably getting a massive upgrade. Now, this was supposed to happen back in 2020, if you guys remember. The NHL's new deal with ESPN and their partnerships. The NHL's making a lot of money off their new deal, and basically that was supposed to be the huge introduction of a huge raise in every team's salary cap. The only problem is right now, we're looking at a situation where the NHL salary cap has pretty much stayed the same. You know, from 2020 to 2022, it was known as the flat cap era in the NHL's history. And the reason for that is the NHL had to pay, they had to pay their players without bringing in the revenue that they did for pretty much 2 seasons, where there was no fans in attendance in the arenas, and it was all off of, streaming and television revenue. That was it for the NHL, and they don't make nearly as much in that realm as they do in in-person attendance. The NHL took a huge hit from that. They paid they forced NHL players to pay a ton of money in escrow in their CBA agreement, which was also in 2020. They, negotiated a deal and kind of had the CBA and everything else involved, and the potential of a lockout quickly went out the window because everybody wanted to return to action. But that deal will be up in 2025, which also means the NHL is trying to push the salary cap to once again grow pretty drastically in the next couple of years. And this is the report here from Sportsnet on Deputy Commissioner Bill Daley, and he said he is optimistic that the cap can get a quote-unquote significant boost after the 2023-24 NHL season. So basically what we're looking at is the different reports I've been hearing over the last couple of months. We've heard a lot about 2025, and that one really being the year, especially with a new CBA agreement and a new TV deal in 2025, the NHL salary cap is expected to grow dramatically, but it might even be coming sooner than that in 2024. So if that's the case, we're looking at the season of the 2024-25 season. And again, that's still 2 years away. Don't get it twisted. There's still a full 2-season wait till then. But it is showing some optimism. And again, the salary cap will continue to grow over the next 2 or 3 years, just maybe not as much as, say, $10 million per team. You look at the NHL's cap right now, the upper limit is $82.5 million. I would not be surprised if we got to 2030 in the next 10 years, not even, that the NHL is over $100 million as the cap ceiling for every team in the National Hockey League, which is absolutely insane. We're starting to see some mega contracts starting to get thrown around, and that talk of that Connor McDavid contract, we're starting to see more contracts that are probably going to look like that, especially going into 2025. Most notably this summer coming up, Nathan MacKinnon might be the highest paid player in the National Hockey League. And again, with these reports out there, he's going to be looking and saying, you know what, if the salary cap's going to increase, if you guys give me $14 million, it shouldn't be that much in the next 4 to 5 years. So I think that's what the NHL is looking at here, and I think that we are very close to a situation where the NHL salary cap will go back to that very optimistic, maybe $5-6 million increase per season. So we'll see what happens. Of course, I'll let you guys know the latest on that as it comes. But as of right now, some optimism. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. By the time we get to 2030, do you think we will see a $100 million cap ceiling for every team in the National Hockey League? Or do you think a little bit less than that? Maybe we'll get to closer to 95 million. Let me know your guys' thoughts. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.